Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am Dave Murray, the Senior Consultant for the DeJulius Group. Welcome to the Customer Service Revolution Speaker Spotlight Interview Series. This is where we interview the incredible lineup of speakers for the 2018 Customer Service Revolution Conference, formerly known as the Secret Service Summit, which will be held this year in Cleveland, Ohio on October 24th and October 25th, 2018. And I am thrilled to announce that we are starting this year's highlight series off with a bang, because joining me today is the one and only Dr. Willie Jolley. Dr. Jolley, thank you so much for joining us. Let me tell our viewers just a little bit about you, for those that aren't familiar. First of all, there's some really cool stuff here. First of all, Dr. Jolley was named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world by Toastmasters International. Only 500 speakers worldwide have ever been given that honor, including Colin Powell, Nelson Mandela, Margaret Thatcher. That's some pretty cool company right there. You've also authored several best-selling books, including some of the titles that I love. It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life. A Setback is a Setup for a Comeback, and An Attitude of Excellence. I love those. And you are the host of a #1 motivational radio show on SiriusXM, the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show. The cool thing about you is your goal when you speak is to inspire your audience to live better and achieve more. Dr. Jolley, thank you so much for joining us today, and welcome.
Thank you so much. It's a joy to be on with you, and I am really looking forward to this conference in Cleveland, and I've just been so impressed with the whole organization and how they have just been so focused on excellence. And so I am excited about it and grateful to be on with you today. I start off my interviews, I start off my radio show, I start off my speeches with a little piece that I want to start with this. You have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. It's forced upon you. You can't refuse it. You didn't seek it. You didn't choose it. But it's up to you to use it. You must suffer if you lose it. Give account if you abuse it. It's just a tiny little minute, but your eternities are wrapped up in it. And I wanted to start off with that in this interview, because this minute, this moment that we are sharing on this platform seems like just a small moment in time. But all great missions, all great movements start with a moment. And I am just impressed with the movement and the mission that the DeJulius Group has taken on to impact and inspire and empower people who want to have their organizations to grow, to make a difference, to be profitable, to be even more profitable, and to have greater impact on the world. So I want to thank you for this moment, this minute, and for this opportunity.
Well, that's awesome, and thank you for joining us. We are thrilled to have you, and can't wait to see you in October.
Yes.
So one of the challenges for me preparing for this interview is I had to narrow down the list of questions I had to you to 4 or 5 to fit into the time frame that we have. That was difficult. And I wanted to start out with the question I think that many people know you for, and that's the fascinating work you did with Ford Motor Company. And the cool thing is Success Magazine actually called you Ford's secret weapon. And we're talking about the days when the big 3 automakers were having their issues and there was government assistance being talked about. And you started a partnership with Ford. Can you share a little bit about that and kind of what their primary goals were at the time and some of the things you did with them?
Sure. I'm very grateful for Ford and the fact that I was able to not only work with them for 3 years and help them to grow through their challenges, not just go through them, but grow through them. But it's also what I learned in the process. And the situation was this. In 2005, Ford was on the brink of bankruptcy. They'd gone from the top automaker in the world to a market share of less than 15%. Toyota had surpassed them, and all the other car makers had surpassed them. They're on their way out of business. They brought in a new CEO, Alan Mulally, who said, we got to change the culture of this company or we're out of business. And so I'm honored that they had someone in the Ford senior suite or the C-suite who had read my book, A Setback is a Setup for a Comeback, and had heard me speak and said there's this guy named Willie Jolley who I think can help us. And so I had conversations with Ford, and I told them I would be happy to help. And so I worked with Ford in 2006. They brought me back in 2007. They brought me back in 2008. And in 2009, Ford was the only one of the big three automakers to be able to reject a government bailout. They went from losing $1 million a month to making $1 billion a month in a time period where the economy went down rather than up. Now, what changed? Thinking. And that is what I specialize in, helping people change their thinking so they can change their action, so they can change their future. And so we were able to help Ford. And as you said, Success Magazine wrote nice comments about it. But the real big push for me came when the Detroit Free Press wrote an article about Ford's amazing comeback. And they mentioned me in the article as the guy who helped Ford. That day, GM called. That same day, GM called, and the guy tracked me down. I was traveling. He called me on my cell phone. And then Walmart called. Then Verizon, Prudential of Australia, Prudential of Malaysia. Then Chevron. Then just one after another started calling saying, we need you to come. If you can help Ford, you can help us. And so since then, in the years that have proceeded, I've been able to speak for numerous Fortune 100 companies around the globe. We were just in Dubai for Johnson & Johnson, as well as be able to share those principles that I learned and the ones that I shared in my book, An Attitude of Excellence. And the book is just incredible stories, lessons, principles. Excuse me. And we're grateful. The book will be coming to stores right around the time of the conference. We've been only selling it to my clients for the last couple of years. And so many of the clients, Hyatt and Marriott and Blue Cross Blue Shield and so many others, have bought it for all their people. And it's been tremendous. But then a big publisher heard about it, and we did a partnership, and so the book will be coming out in bookstores and in airports. And so we're very grateful that others will be able to get these lessons, and that's what I'm going to talk about when I come to the conference, Achieving Greatness with an Attitude of Excellence. 2 words, attitude and excellence, that I learned in this Ford experience. Attitude is mindset, excellence is skill set, and when you marry them, you've got your keys to pursue and achieve greatness.
That's excellent. And congratulations on the book and getting that larger, widespread audience that will be coming around the same time as our conference in October. That's great news.
Yes.
So I have another question for you, and it's kind of Ford related, but I also wanted to open this up to all your clients. A lot of the people that are viewing this today or attend our conference in October, the attendees, are really focused on implementation and sometimes have some problems with implementation. They can come up with some great ideas, but actually getting them out, especially in a larger company like Ford Motor Company or others that you mentioned, that could be difficult. So I'm just curious, with your experience working with some of these large organizations, any takeaways on implementation that you've had from your partnerships?
Well, I learned a lot from Alan Mulally. Alan Mulally was the CEO who came from Boeing. He had turned around Boeing and he came to Ford. And one of the things that he talks about is just that point, that Ford was well known for talking good, but not doing good. Okay. In other words, they would talk about quality is job one. You'd hear that on the commercials, but then they didn't do what they said they were going to do. And his first thing that he came in when he came to Ford is saying, we're not going to just walk the walk. We're going to talk the talk, and we're going to walk the talk. And so he made sure that the people stop the process or the habit of talking and not doing. It was implementation. Every day you would sit down and say, what did we do? You start the day with, here's what we're planning to do. And at the end of the day, you say, did we do it or not? Because so much happens in our lives. So much gets distracted. Someone said that we are destroyed for a lack of focus, or we let mass distractions impact our destruction. And we have mass distractions that come our way all day long and all week long and every hour on the hour. And you sometimes will not implement those things that you had hoped to or talked to. But what he did was put in place some systems so that you would check it in the morning, what you were planning to do, and then you check it in the evening. And then you had to have a what they called a business plan meeting and a BPM. And then you'd have to share the results of your plan. Did you do what you said you were going to do? And you know, there's no hiding when you have to say put up or shut up. When my core I guess competency for many years, people who knew me from or have heard me speak know that I sing.
Yes.
And I'm a singer. And I was a singer before I became a speaker. And one of the things I remember when I was a young kid singing in the glee club or the choral groups, we had a choral director named Eddie Jackson with the DC Youth Chorale. And what he would do, he would make each person sing solo the parts so that you couldn't hide behind the other good singers. You had to know your part and you had to be able to perform it individually. And he would say, okay, now you sing the part and then you sing the part. So if you didn't have it together, you were going to get embarrassed. So I learned that at that moment, how important it was that I had to hold my own and do what I say I'm going to do, or do the part that I'm supposed to do. And so that's part of the implementation, is not hiding behind others, but taking responsibility, which is one of the points I talk about in the book. And I have the 10 commandments of great exceptional service. And one of them is, thou shalt take responsibility, which means respond with your own ability. Everybody must do that if they're going to have a winning organization. Everybody must respond with their ability, their personal ability.
That's excellent advice. And I love the early learning lessons of Glee Club, to know your part and to be held accountable from very early on. And I've been lucky enough to see you on stage at the National Speaker Association a few years back. And you were only on for about 10 minutes because they got some Hall of Famers up there to do kind of their open or their close. And you were one of them. And man, it was fantastic. It was really,
thank you. Great. Thank you very much.
I have another question for you. And as you know, a lot of our attendees at the Customer Service Revolution Conference are really focused on customer service within their organization. And it might be their job to go back and focus on that. And maybe they're coming here to kind of learn how to do a little better at that or learn some new tricks. What are some of the keys that you have seen from your partnerships to really providing world-class service as an organization?
You know, that's great, a great question. And it's really profound that you would ask that question today. Many people know for the last few years, I have kind of been off the scene in the corporate space because I replaced Zig Ziglar on the National Get Motivated Tour with my friend Les Brown. So we've been doing 2 cities a week, every week for the last 3 years. I recently took a leave of absence because I had to finish the book, the revision of the book. I've got the XM show that I had to up because when it hit #1, people are calling. You got more calls, and I just signed a new syndication deal for my daily radio show. I precede Steve Harvey with my Motivational Minute, and that's going to now 60 markets. And so I had a whole lot going on, and I couldn't do it with being on the road all the time. So I started taking more of my corporate events, particularly those in the area, so I could do them while I'm working on these other things and wouldn't have to get on a plane. Well, last Friday, had the opportunity to speak for about 2,000 people at the Gaylord National Hotel Resort. And their focus was on customer service. How do we create world-class customer-centric service so that we can be a world-class organization? And I shared some of the principles that they must do. Like as I said, there are 10 commandments for exceptional customer service. I'll give you a couple of those that are simple. Thou shalt serve with a smile. Most companies stress service with a smile, but they don't always do it. They say it, but they don't do it. But there's an old Jewish proverb that says, a person who cannot smile should not open a store. A smile expresses a sentiment that words do not always express. A smile conveys, I'm pleased you're here. I want to help you. And it speaks to people's spirits, not just to their eyes. So that is one. Second is thou should go the extra mile. The extra mile is not always easy. In fact, the only place where there's no traffic jam in life is the extra mile, because most people will not go there. Most people will do just enough to get by. They'll do just enough to keep their job. But those who go the extra mile do the extra little things, the extra, which creates the extraordinary. Extraordinary really means extraordinary. So if you take the ordinary and you expand it, you become extraordinary or extraordinary. Then thou shalt greet, speak, and be real sweet. Simple concept. When I was speaking at the Crystal Cathedral, Garden Grove, California, Hour of Power, I was so excited. After my message there, the next day I was going to be leaving, but I had a few minutes to kill, so I went over to the bookstore. A little lady with gray hair came over to me and she said, oh, I loved your message yesterday. It was so inspiring. I said, thank you very much. She said, so would you like some of the materials here? I said, no, I'm not planning on buying anything because I just came to, to spend a little time before the car takes me to the airport. She said, oh, well, let me take you around. She was so sweet and she was so nice. When I left that day, I had an arm full of books because she was so great and nice. Look, people respond to people who are nice, who speak, who greet, who are pleasant, and they spend more money with them. That's one of the secrets that will help you. Then the others I'll just kind of skip around. Thou shalt be willing to apologize quickly. Now, this one is a big one. Doesn't just work for your business, work for your marriages. Many people know I have a new marriage book out. My wife and I wrote a book called Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. We've been married for 33 years. Haven't had an argument in over 30 years. Amazing. And someone asked, you never had an argument? I said, no, I didn't say that. I said we haven't had an argument in 30 years. Those first couple of years were like World War III. But we learned some principles that worked. We learned it from mentors who have been married many years, and they taught us some principles that worked. One of those principles was apologize quickly. And it worked for our marriage, and it works for business. Look, sometimes people are going to have problems. You're going to have people who are offended. Something's not going to go right. Don't delay. Quick. Apologize. Even if it's not your fault. I speak for a lot of big churches. I do church training, customer service training for churches when on the weekends, because I want to be a blessing to churches and to synagogues and the mosque, anywhere who has a faith-based mindset. I want to bless them. And so I do these church events. And I tell people, people are going to come in sometime who have problems, who have issues. And they might have been offended by somebody in the parking lot. Somebody told them you can't park there, and they got mad, or their seat, they had to move because something. Look, it might not have been your fault. Apologize. Say, oh, I'm so sorry. Just do it. Because when you apologize, what you do is you take the stinger out of the sting. You remove that point that was continuing to create friction and create problems. Just take it out. I apologize. And see what you can do to help them. See what you can do to fix that situation. If you cannot fix it, just say, I am so sorry. We'll work on that. But always take a moment to apologize quickly. Don't take it personally. Just get it over with. It'll help your company. It'll help your marriage. In fact, I want to give everybody who's listening right now a chapter from this book. We want to save 1 million marriages. 50% of marriages in America break up for minor things. And we have found, as we said, mentors, that there are 3 reasons people break up: sex, money, communication. And so we deal with some of those immediately right off the bat in this chapter. Go to jollymarriage.com, get the free chapter I'll gift to you, because we want to save 1 million marriages and enhance 1 million more.
Oh, that's awesome. And thank you for that gift for our viewers. That's fantastic. I have another question for you.
Sure.
One of the things that I'm personally excited about is I know that you speak on a workplace culture of excellence.
Yes.
And that's something that's near and dear to my heart. I work with a lot of organizations, and I know sometimes that's really where they need to start. They need to kind of work on their internal service delivery before they can really expect great things out of their external service delivery. So I'm just wondering if you can give us a little glimpse into how you help a company achieve a culture of excellence.
Well, one of the things I do is the first thing is to get people to understand the difference between mindset and skill set. For many years, I went around looking for the secret to success. I went to seminars. I bought audios. I bought videos. I went to libraries. I got tapes of books because I wanted to find that single key that would unlock the padlock of success. And here's what I found. I found there's no single key. It's a combination lock. And not only must you know the digits, but they must be in the right sequence or it will not open the lock. And the digits always start with mindset. Mindset first. Scripture says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. When you change your thinking, you'll change your future. So it starts with your thinking, first mindset, then action, skill set. Now, what happens if you reverse it? Thought with skill set before mindset. Well, we see that often every year in professional athletics. We see a group of young, talented, just fabulous athletes who get signed to professional sports teams and get multi-million-dollar contracts. 30, 40, 50, $100 million. We are so excited about them. Here's the problem. 5 years after retirement, over 70% of professional athletes are broke because they worked on a skill set before they worked on a mindset. You must start with the mindset. And that's what I thought with when I go to speak for a company. I start with their mindset. That's what we did with Ford. Before we tried to sell them cars, get them to sell more cars, we had to sell them on themselves, on the possibilities. We had to work on mindset. Then the skill set of excellence, attitude, then aptitude. And so if you put it in the right sequence, you will unlock that lock. And that's what I help the companies do. We've had so many great stories of these great comebacks, great improvement in customer service ratings and qualified and quantitative analysis of customer service surveys. People said, we've seen such a change. We saw it in our church. As I said, I speak at a lot of churches. I'm a member of First Baptist Church of Glen Arden in Washington, D.C. area. And one day I went to the bookstore and the lady who was serving had no idea how to serve. Now, she was a nice lady. She loved the Lord. Okay. She had a will to serve, but she didn't have the skill to serve because no one had ever trained her or taught her how to serve. Well, I went to the pastor and said, you're losing money in the bookstore. He said, what? I said, because the lady and the gentleman who work there, ladies and gentlemen don't really know how to serve. They don't serve like a Nordstrom's or a Ritz-Carlton. They don't have that skill set. They've never been trained. They joined a ministry or group and then they started serving. I said, but Nordstrom's, you have to go through a process. You have to go through days and days of training before you meet or greet a customer. He said, fix it. So I did a program for the bookstore team and the numbers went up. He called me a couple months later. He said, look, whatever you did for the bookstore, I need you to do for the ushers, the greeters. I need you to do for everybody who touches people because that was so profound. We saw such an improvement and the numbers went up. It's about mindset. First, mindset, then skill set.
Fantastic information. And I know I'm excited to see you on the stage at the Customer Service Revolution. I want to thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Jolley. I do want to share, before I let you go, for those that still need to register, now that you have seen what Dr. Jolley has to share with us, if you haven't registered yet, I know you want to now. So on the screen, please visit customerservicerevolution.com. Again, the Customer Service Revolution, formerly known as the Secret Service Summit, will be October 24th and 25th. In beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. We're looking forward to seeing all of you there. And of course, we're looking forward to seeing you, Dr. Jolley. Thank you so much for spending some time with us.
I can't wait. And I want to thank you for such a wonderful interview and for being so kind. I want to thank John and the whole Julius team for all their excellence in putting this together. And I want to encourage everybody, listen, everybody who's watching this. if you have a business, if you want to have a business, if you work for a business, if you want to grow your business, if you want to grow your success, you want to be at this conference, because I'm going to share Attitude of Excellence Secrets from the new book, the revised book, with so much new information from the original. That's just, I recently had John Maxwell on my show, and he talked about how his latest book is his first book, that he had learned so much in the 25 years since he wrote it that it was just like a new book. And that's what I say about this book. In the 10 years since I wrote this, it's been so much I've learned from me speaking to these major companies and sitting down with CEOs. I want to share those lessons with you that help you grow your business. Join us. Don't delay. Don't hesitate. Get your tickets. Get your reservation. Come to Cleveland. It's going to be fabulous. It's going to be incredible. I'm going to bring my resources. I'm going to bring some things. I'm going to take pictures. I'm going to be there for you, because the best for sure is yet to come. Have a great week, great month, a great year this year, because you've chosen to do it. And remember, your best is yet to come.
Oh, that's fantastic. I cannot wait. Thank you much, Dr. Jolley. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you, all of our viewers, for joining us today. And we will see you next time with our next guest. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Jolley.